Hello and welcome to the Anglican Flaneurs. Today we're in the City of London. We're just off City Road in the Bunhill Row area, and we're going to be spending the evening looking at the John Wesley Chapel and peering through the railings of the Bunhill Row Cemetery. And we'll be going close to the Artillery Arms and looking at people doing sensible things like having a drink on a Thursday evening rather than being a sad old man just with his camera. Really, I should say Bunhill Fields Burial ground. And we'll finish off the evening closer to Liverpool Street Station, looking at the new Broadgate development and also looking at the impact of Crossrail and the Elizabeth line. This chapel was designed by the great man himself, John Wesley, the founder of Methodism. It was designed by the architect George Dance the Younger, who was the surveyor of the City of London. The building was completed in 1778 during the reign of King George III, and Wesley's description of his chapel was that it was perfectly neat but not fine. It was the first Methodist preaching house to be allowed to celebrate the Holy Communion. For over 10 years I worked just around the corner, probably less than 50 yards from this building, in a place called Triton Court. For 10 years I would walk past it and I never knew anything about it. I just wonder how many of us, with the pressures of work and living in London, just walk with a head down from A to B as quickly as possible without observing what's around us. And until I became an old fart, I certainly was one of them. And not only is it the splendour of the building that may pass you by, it's also all the events that they've held here, lots of very interesting talks and concerts. As well as still being a place of worship, it's also a hub of the community around here with lots of different events. In 1819 the chapel was transformed to commemorate the centenary of Wesley's death. Jasper's pillars were donated from Methodist churches around the world to replace the original ship's mast donated by George III, and oak pews were also added, and the stained glass too. Now, if we move on to November the 1st, 1978, we find that the chapel itself had been closed for 5 years due to structural problems, and exactly 200 years after Wesley opened the chapel, the buildings were reopened in grand style in the presence of Queen Elizabeth II. In 1989, Wesley's Chapel and the nearby mission joined together. Wesley's Chapel works in a covenant relationship with the parish church of St Giles, Cripplegate, and in the closest of relationships with the local Roman Catholic, Welsh Presbyterian and Quaker congregations. It was the great man himself, John Wesley, that famously said that he considered the whole world to be his parish. As we walk up City Road from Finsbury Square up to Tech Roundabout by Old Street Station, it's so wonderful to see these old buildings. There's so much modern crud that's been built, chrome glass around us, that this is really a haven of good design and good taste. And what I love about these buildings, and we've been trying to explore a few of them in the City of London, that in amongst all the insurance houses, city banks, investment houses, there's not all just about money making machines. There's this haven of good taste and good design and good architecture. And perhaps this video will be something of a contrast. In the early parts of the video we've explored this great example of Georgian architecture, and we said we'd finish the video off by Liverpool Street Station, where you'll see the new Broadgate development, which is very much the new modern architecture with new utopias being built. Let's carry on talking about John Wesley. John Wesley was born in 1703, died in 1791, and was leader really of the revivalist movement known within the Church of England as Methodism. Under Wesley's leadership, the Methodist Church became leaders in many social issues, including the abolition of slavery and prison reform. Wesley argued against the notion of Christian perfection and against Calvinism, and in particular against its doctrine of predestination. In the early days of Methodism, Wesley was met with some resentment and resistance, but he became very respected, and towards the end of his life he was described as the best loved man in England. Over the next few months, now we're in late autumn, early winter, we're going to take advantage of these dark nights. There's something magical about filming in the dark, with the contrast. It just gives everywhere a different atmosphere, so I hope you enjoy these dark evenings. And to me, London always shows up better in the dark. Now, I really can't put a reason to that, but I think there's a certain magic to London on dark nights. We've crossed over City Road, gone right onto Chiswell Street, and we're now on Bunhill Row. We're just outside Bunhill Fields Burial Ground or Cemetery, and we're going to show you some atmospheric shots through the railings. That's as close as we can get to tonight, and I hope you feel that atmosphere. But I hope you can enjoy the atmosphere that these shots of the cemetery at night may give you. We're now coming up to a very decent Fuller's pub, the Artillery Arms, so named for reasons I will go into later. Now, there's a great scene outside here, and this is how I used to spend my Thursday evenings in the past. Now I just have a camera in hand rather than a pint in hand, but good luck to the people tonight. As I think I said on the Cornhill Street video, there's a certain magic to Thursday night drinks in the City of London. Now, we've done a few cemeteries on our vlogs. We've done two of the Magnificent Seven. We did West Nord, and we've done Brompton, and we've also looked at Brockley Cemetery. But this is to me the most atmospheric and the most wonderful of all. But let's leave that for next week. Coming up to the gates of the Honourable Artillery Company. The company itself is a reserve regiment in the British Army and was incorporated by a royal charter in 1537 by King Henry VIII, and is the oldest regiment in the British Army and is considered the second oldest military unit in the world. Today's purpose is to attend to the better defence of the realm, primarily through supporting the HAC Regiment and a detachment of the City of London Special Constabulary. Before us we can see this fine row of terraced houses. Now, Bunhill Row is the Broadgate campus of the University of Law. Now, previously in this building was the Board of Trade and the Post Office. And for investment people, it was the former site of the Financial Services Authority, as it was known in the 1990s and 2000s. So if you'd been a naughty boy in the 1990s and done something you shouldn't have done, this is where you had to come and account for your actions. Nowadays, the FSA have been replaced by the Financial Conduct Authority that are based at Endeavour Square in the Olympic Park. We're now coming up to an area that includes Broadgate Exchange Square, Broadgate Circle and Finsbury Avenue. There's lots of positive billboards, and we'll do a little montage of them over the next few minutes. They're very, very positive. Lots of great affirmations. This is the place to unwind, to enjoy yourself. This is the place to live. This is the place to work. Oh my God, we're coming up to the worst building in London. Now, this is absolutely horrendous. Now, I did work for this company many, many years ago, so there's no resentment from that angle. But this really is just such an ugly, dark, oppressive building. It's repulsive. I don't know what you think, but every time I go past here, I just shudder. This really is quite awful. To think just a few moments ago we were at Wesley's Chapel, and now we see this monstrosity of 5 Finsbury Avenue. And I'll leave you with the revellers in Broadgate Circle and all the very optimistic billboards telling you about this wonderful new development. Now, I can remember when Broadgate Circle was opened as an ice rink, and I can remember seeing the great jazz artist George Wesley sing there in a magnificent purple suit and hat in the late 80s, I believe. Just remember, this is the place to build a future. What we see is some examples of the construction here, and of course this is where the Crossrail line has been built, or in the process of being built, over the last 10 or so years. There's been some magnificent archaeology discovered here in that time, and we'll go on about that in a later vlog. Just as an example, you found the burial grounds of Bedlam Hospital, and there's so much more as well. But that's it for the evening. I'm just about to look at the scoreboard from my train back. I'm looking for the 9:30 to Norwich. So that's goodbye from the Anglican Flaneurs, and we hope to see you again soon. I'll just show you some footage of me walking up the platform 9 at Liverpool Street Station. Or I should say platform 10, sorry, I've got the platform wrong there.